Right then, I don't know if you've noticed, right, but Games Workshop have been targeting their fan base just so they could launch the Warhammer app. Now, if we look at the Warhammer app and we think to ourselves, what is it? It's a new product. It needs all the support it can get. If it works, and it should work, then basically it becomes a one-stop shop for animations and all things Warhammer. Makes it nice and easy. However, right, the community that they want to use it is this community you see before you. The people that make these videos and the people that watch these videos. This is what Games Workshop have targeted. I mean, they targeted people that make movies, try to scrap them, basically targeted the very support base of Warhammer 40k. And then they want that support to go over to the Warhammer app. So you can say, you can't do what you want, but we can do what we want, and you have to support us. It doesn't work that way though. If you bitch slap your own community, they're not going to support you. And what's happening is this community is encouraging people to just take the mick and do whatever they like with Games Workshop's copyright. They're going to be in a situation where they can't defend their copyright. If they can't defend their copyright, they're going to lose it. People do anything they like, and Games Workshop will be powerless to stop them, because you literally, it's a game of whack them all basically. You can't hit enough places to catch them all. And this is the community people like. Now, it's okay if GW want to have a focus of the community, like Warhammer Plus app, but don't do it by targeting your own community, right? It's self-destructive. You're just going to end up with a much smaller fan base and a much smaller customer base. Some of these are encouraging people to use 3D printing. Some of them are encouraging them to do other things. One of them is saying, look, all you have to do is look at the alternatives. A small change, because they're all basically the same. It's a very dangerous idea, because if people start playing alternative games, why do they need Games Workshop? Yeah, Games Workshop suddenly become less important. So yeah, this is the community we know. This is the community people enjoy. This is a community Games Workshop should be protecting. And if you look at it, it's endless. There's tons of things for Warhammer 40k. I mean, you can't get to the bottom of it because it's going to keep on going. But every time Games Workshop release a subpar manual, this community rallies around and say it's the best thing since sliced bread. I'm the one that turns around and say this manual's crap. It's not the standard I expect from Games Workshop. They should be putting more quality control into it. A very unpopular opinion. Ironically, the same people that are singing these manual praises are the same people complaining about they haven't been targeted for the animations and stuff. And I'm thinking to myself, it's not really the thing you should have been complaining about. You rubber stamped Games Workshop's ability to just bitch slap you around when you accepted poor quality products like the AdMech manual and other things. We shouldn't be accepting these poor quality products. We should be sending them back and saying, sorry Games Workshop, but this isn't good enough. Try again and get a refund. I mean, this is what happens when game developers, PC game developers, release subpar products. They get to make laws and copyright things and say, right, you've got 2 hours and then you can't get your refund. Because we've let them do it. This is the path we're on with Games Workshop. We're going to get to the point where you can't leave the shop without the book, and if you do, you can't get a refund again. It's going down that road because we just blindly accept things. We blindly accept there'll be errors in the book when we shouldn't be. We should be saying, you've got errors in this book. Could you please send me a corrected book, please? And send it back so they're going to do a full reprint. You can be sure if you're going to do a full reprint, they'll get it right the first time. So instead of kicking off about animations, we need to be kicking off about the falling standards at Games Workshop. Also, when you're looking at Games Workshop products and things like that, and you're thinking to yourself, this is good that these books are being released. Bear in mind, in the run-up to 9th edition, my Iron Warriors army changed 3 times. They were unrecognisable. I could not keep my army maintained in the official lands, says, because they kept changing the rules. No sooner had arranged it to be, to match the current rules, and they changed it again and again and again. And in the end, I didn't recognise them. I had no control over my own army, so I scrapped it and went for Death Guard. And then they changed that as well, all in the space of 1 year. They scrapped everything, so in the end I went Renegade. I made a Renegade army. I thought, you can't change Renegade, whatever I say they are. So GW have changed things so fast. And if you look at things like the story between Thousand Sons and Space Wolves, when the Thousand Sons invaded the world, 2 books there, the rules in them didn't last long. Psychic Awakening rules didn't last long. Gathering Storm rules didn't last long. I mean, all of these upgrades and rule changes, they cost quite a lot of money to buy, but they don't last long enough to be worth buying. I mean, they've recently trimmed away all the rules and brought the game's rules back down to a very basic level, which guarantees they're going to release manuals later to add the rules back. So we're going to have to pay to get rule books that add back what we had in 8th edition. It's a money grab. And quite frankly, there'd be poor quality Rust manuals as well, which will require more erratas and more updates, and we should be kicking off about this. We shouldn't be accepting that kind of nonsense. We should be speaking out and saying, look, we demand you put more effort into quality control. As for the Warhammer app, I understand why people are targeting it, because quite frankly, Games Workshop seem to be targeting their own fan base, or the fan base who now see their own extinction if Games Workshop get their own way. They're saying no to it, which is ironic because Games Workshop can't make Warhammer Plus a thing. They can't make it work without the fan support, but they've decided to target the fans, so the fans aren't supporting it. This is why it gets a lot of bad press, and quite frankly there's not much to see right now, but as soon as there is, you can guarantee they'll knock the price up. But anyway, what you see on screen here, this is the fan community that Games Workshop are targeting. I mean, you can see several animations here and everything else, but these are all the sites, which would be affected by Games Workshop's, bitch slapping of the community. So you can understand why, says they're all up in arms against Games Workshop right now. Why there's so many posts about basically taking Games Workshop on, changes different games, 3D printing, anything and everything to annoy Games Workshop, because Games Workshop have annoyed the entire community. I think at the end of the day though, you need to look at the Warhammer app as a way of a one-stop shop for 40k. If Games Workshop hadn't targeted the Warhammer community, then the Warhammer community wouldn't be angry with it now, and the Warhammer app would be doing a lot better than it is. But they did, so it isn't. It's as simple as that. Cause and effect. Now, the Warhammer app, I like the animations on it. I think it's going to, Warhammer TV especially, is going to branch off eventually on its own once there's enough content there. But it will be a little bit like Disney. It won't be one of those Netflix things. So I think it'd be a case of like you log in to see what's new in the community. But I don't think Games Workshop can do that on their own. I think the very community they've targeted is going to be needed to be involved to make Warhammer TV work. And frankly, I think Games Workshop have cut their own throat on that. They could have literally signed a death bill of a death note of Warhammer Plus on the day they launched it, because I don't see one company being able to produce enough content to make Warhammer TV work on its own. I think they would have to have partnerships with some of the people you're seeing on the screen right now, just to make it work. If they did that, yeah, I think it'd work out quite nicely. Without it, I think it's going to be too slow. The development will be too slow. But anyhow, as you can see, I'm still going, and there's still 40k content there, and it hasn't drifted off onto sad topics either. It's still pure 40k. This is the community. See you in the next one.